Welcome to the Pirates of Drinax. We're going to pick up where we left off last week. These guys are kind of. This is a a beginning to the sequel of the Mystery of BT-SHT 365. The sequel, otherwise collectively known as the Shadow of the Petrovskis, and they have followed the coordinates that were in the astrogation computer of the Rasputin escort destroyer that they found, or destroyer escort, and they have followed it to an empty hex, and it's a really wonky place. There is something here. Looks like that one time way in the past, 2,000 years in the past, roughly, there was a star here that has gone into a black hole, but it didn't follow any of the phases that happens to normally do that. And the data that they've gotten back is that for whatever reason, this star just collapsed in on itself, and it is a single solar mass. So this black hole's been really doing nothing. But the downside, so I mean, none of the orbits of the planets in its wake have changed, but there's a huge amount of background gamma radiation in the system. And in their studies of this black hole, they've discovered that it occasionally spits out a huge gamma ray burst, and they're estimating that it's a little overdue. It looks like it does it about every 400 years, and so they're minding their P's and Q's and keeping one eye on that. Meanwhile, they have boarded a derelict in a debris field of a 25,000-ton, what would have been at the time a Sindalian dreadnought. Keep in mind that Sindalians preferred smaller ships, so 25,000 tons was definitely a dreadnought. And this ship had been shorn in half. Looks like it blew in half due to a reactor overload. And they got in last week. They got into a big fight with a surviving Sindalian mutineer droid. And so, if there was ever a mutiny on the ship, these things would come out, and it was rather nasty. Had a nasty armament on it, but they were able to take it down. In the process, they have met with some scavengers from a nearby planetoid who are there in the employment of a salvage company based out of Palindrome, and they had signed on for a 1-year contract with a possible extension. They have been here for 2 years, and they are planning in 6 months would be the limit of the extension on their contract. They are expecting a ship to come and relieve them with another salvage crew in about 6 months. Otherwise, they're going to be in some very, very deep shit, because they will be out of food, they will be out of air, they will be out of all of the things that they would need to continue to live. Not to mention the fact that they have been out here too long, and they are all showing signs of pretty advanced radiation sickness, and disease, and everything that goes along with that. So we will be picking up there. Before we get started, we'd like to thank a friend of the Greenwater, Guildhall. None of these are sponsorships or partnerships of any kind. They are just products that we really like. And today we would like to thank Fable Beard Company. Fable Beard Company makes wonderful beard products such as oils, balms, butters, beard wash, co-wash. They have all sorts of things. They even have, I believe they have spray-on cologne still, and they've got an all-natural deodorant. They have a women's line under the auspice of FableBeauty.com. And again, they have like hair tonic oil and shave oil serum and body frosting and just all manner of smell pretty stuff. And each of their scent profiles is a different fantasy character. Tonight, I am wearing Dr. Wolf's Beard Balm, or I'm sorry, Dr. Wolf's Beard Butter. and it smells of like a mild pipe tobacco mixed with blueberry, and it is probably one of my favorite scents. And I really, as I let my beard get thicker and a little bit longer, I've discovered that I really like the beard butter over the oil. It's like the oil just it makes it soft, but it doesn't control it at all. I've found so far that the beard butter is a nice in between, whereas beard balm is, you can if you have to look good for a while, beard balm's the direction to go. But beard butter is kind of that in between, and you can actually smooth it out and look presentable and not have any massive flyaways. If you are a first time purchaser, they do have a buy one get one free option. Just go to fablebeardco.com, make yourself an account, and you can put 2 beard oils into your cart. And when you check out, use the code FIRST in all capital letters, and that will get your second beard oil for free. We have a merch store as well via Zazzle, and we've got hoodies and t-shirts and buttons and a fleece blanket that comes in 3 sizes, and there's a beer stein, and the newest product is the current updated campaign map poster for the Braunhaven campaign setting from our Saturday game. And like the one of the T-shirts and one of the buttons actually has the Pirates of Drinax logo made by Cameron, and so that's available. All manner of good stuff. If you want to help us out, all the proceeds from that store go directly back into the channel, and it helps us cover things like the Roll20 subscription and our Incarnate subscription, all these little minor things that seem to add up quickly over time. And so, yeah, that would help us out. And if you want to assist, just go get yourself a t-shirt and a button, and we really appreciate everything you do for us. So, news. Today, I actually finished writing the writing work on the new Braunhaven book, A Treatise of Magic and Spells. It came out to 137 pages, and lots of cool stuff in there. Some really powerful artifacts and relics that I can't really go too much into detail about for you guys, but they will be in the book. And I will just say you will be getting up close and personal with some of them in the future. But yeah, they are massively powerful magic items. Yeah, all sorts of new spells, new rituals. I really like the way they did. I think it was Appendix N Entertainment did ritual magic, because Old School Essentials only goes up to level 14, and so you have some of these spells that were in the first edition D&D game that were out of reach. But they can be in reach if you use ritual magic, and you have to go through special loops and hoops and have special components, and have to, of course, have more time to prep them, things like that. So yeah, it's really cool. I'm looking forward to it coming out, and it's moving on into the proofreading and editing stage, phase 1, and so that'll probably take me another couple days, and then it's got to go through Adobe InDesign, and who knows how long that'll take, because Adobe sucks. And so yeah, I'll have to do battle once again with that. But yeah, probably next week it should be hitting DriveThruRPG, I would think. I'm hoping. That's assuming my battle with Adobe goes well. So where we left off, you guys were kind of going about your way, searching it out. I know that Beth had asked the leader of the scavengers, Vikand Duvant, and he pointed out that the very fore section is the bridge, and Beth recklessly ran off in that direction. So round robin, I guess. Keith, where are you going?
I want to check out whatever computers are available here, if there are any. It, it seems like they took all the core, but I was wondering if there's anything left.
Well, the bridge would have some. Now, if you're asking Vikand, he'll tell you that a lot of the computers and things in here have already been scavenged, mostly by Athel. And so, like when you first came in, you came in through the Ford engineering section, which was down here in number 7, and you noticed immediately that a lot of the consoles had been pretty much taken apart. There were wires just floating about, and this is Athel scavenging parts, trying to get things to work. Now, what they did tell you is that they had already removed the computer core itself, and so when they plugged it in, of course, it didn't want to function, and so Athel has been coming back repeatedly, getting bits and pieces that he thinks will work, and then finding out that they don't work, and then but he's confident this time that this is the last piece that he really needs in order to get to fire up this.
Yeah, I was trying to
Core.
find that part. I was wondering if he hasn't found it, if there's some sort of uh, log of where it might be or something like that.
So evidently, let's see here. He says, "Man, it was a long time ago that I wrote this." It's funny because I read this now and my style of writing has changed significantly.
Hmm.
Um,
I mean, we had pushed the storyline to the point where we were about to lose the link to this whole about to move the fuck away if things don't happen to.
well, you know that the colony has sent a slow pinnace to pick up these scavengers.
Oh no, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about Coraline uh,
Petrovsky.
Yeah, she's about to leave the Drinax
Yeah,
system and
she's
and so we need to do what we got to do to wrap her storyline up before she goes the fuck on. We forced your hand. Or it was a mastermind scheme of
yeah. Well, I mean, not
manipulation and
it's not necessarily that you guys forced her hand, but with the, um, I mean, she got to witness pretty much firsthand a coup, and the coup that was handed out via Lady Hill pretty much played out um, along the similar lines as to how the Sindalians would have gone about it. I mean, there was no quarter given, no mercy shown, and it was there will be peace after everybody's dead, and so she kind of witnessed this firsthand, knowing that actually having had seen um, BT-SHT 365, um, she it really flipped a switch in her that she now knows what her ancestors went through and why they left that planet. And so, just even now that Prince Herrick is back in control and seemingly has put the train back on the tracks to create um, this new kingdom of Drinax. She's not sure that she really wants to follow through with that, or not necessarily not follow through, but she's more interested in. She sees the writing on the wall that this seems like it's almost a never-ending circle. It just keeps going round and round and round, and so um, she's she has no interest in repeating over and over and over again. She would much rather follow up and find out, or try to find out what happened to her ancestors. Where did they go? Now, ultimately, She doesn't know where they went. Nobody knows. So, um, that would lead her to do more investigation, and she has no idea. She has no idea that when you guys left, that that Shenanigans had downloaded this astrogation data and has been essentially crunching the numbers, because it was not only encoded, but it had been sitting in there for so long that it was degraded. And so Shenanigans had to take time to put this all back together. And so she has no idea about that. She didn't know that this out here existed.
Well, just Ting really is here for some ships.
Well, you're probably going to be disappointed in that. None of these ships are flyable. None of them are. They've already been picked over. There is very little salvage to be made here. So, Athel tells Keith that he says if it's not too much to ask, he says you could assist me in gathering wiring harnesses and main boards, so that I can try to get the core back online at the colony. And he says that if you were to help him out, that would hasten his work. And he says the pinnace is already en route, so the faster we can get this done, we can load it up into the pinnace and get back.
What kind of role would it be?
In this case, it would just be, probably going to be an electronics, computers, plus intellect or education.
Okay. Sure. Oh, nice. So I got 12.
Shit. Okay. So, yeah. So Keith is in the computer core helping Athel. What is Ting doing?
Well, the pinnace is coming.
Yeah, but it's a couple hours away. It's a slow pinnace, so. In fact,
okay.
I need to bring up the slow pinnace. Yeah, it's got thrust 3, but they're probably only heading out about thrust 1. They're not in a terrible hurry,
All right. Well, let me try this route. What skill set would you want me to do to identify if there are any key or favorable components out here in this debris field that would speed up the repair of the Palace's base stock? Class A port. There's a bunch of TL-15 ship debris out here, and so I'm thinking that, okay, things may have been picked or whatever, but they haven't been picked over with this in mind. And so there might be things out there that could really be utilized. And so I would like to check that out.
Well, I guess so. If essentially what you're saying is you want to do shipbreaking of the debris and take back, the salvaged internal structure and things.
Well,
like
if there's certain types of clamps or I don't know. I mean, just there's all kinds of shit that goes into this, and so if while I'm sitting here fucking jacking off, I might as well do something productive. And so what I thought might be productive is locating things that further the causes I'm trying to get done. And the main one right now, even though you don't think I can get it done in time, I'd like to sure fucking get that starport up and running. And so,
Well, so Vikand tells you right off the bat that 9 is a workshop, so you might find something of use there.
I'm not there. I'm in the ship.
Oh, that's right.
I'm in the so I'm trying to I'm not. That's Ting's bot. My bots right now. I mean, the flying gun is really following Captain. No, I get it's with Keith, and anybody that acts aggressive at Keith is gonna get fucking a surprise.
Okay.
Because I mean that's the bot's programming. I mean, and then I guess Han Solo and Han Duo. I would retrieve them once they're guarding our entrance to the Anubis.
Right.
You
Right.
know, because that's what I'd tell those dumbasses. They don't need to be out patrolling for shit.
Right.
They're dumb. They're just fucking death bots.
Right.
You know. Yeah, and so I'm wanting to look out in the debris field, and hell, half this ship has been floating around out here in pieces and parts, and if there's a certain cool crane or a tractor beam mechanism or some shit that would make the starport at the fucking floating palace come together quicker,
There's
I would
not.
like.
You can go ahead and make an electronic sensors plus
Yeah,
intellect or education check.
I'm gonna add 2 because I'm in a cool ass ship, man.
Yep, you can do that.
And I need it, but it gives me a 9.
Mm.
So there, looking out at the debris field for anything useful, specifically though, wanting to find interesting shit for our spaceport.
You see a crew that'll build it.
Right.
Well, I
That's
mean, I'm
pointing up
thinking
there.
you've got our new round of workers there on the because when we take their freighter when it comes here, due to it being the only ship the DM provided, I mean that will have to be the one we steal.
You know what I wanted to check on at some point was to see if Beth knows how medically fucked these people are. Like, are they totally gonna die within half a year, or will
Well,
the safety spare
yeah,
them?
they're still all in their suits, and so you would kind of need to get them out of their vac suits, which right now isn't possible, in order to give them a real big once
And
over.
they've got a landing base, is that correct?
Well, so Vikand tells you that the pinnace will dock up here at 3. This is a forward airlock, and he has already restored emergency power. That's where the pinnace will dock.
Do they
Um,
want to once over, or do they not want to know how bad it is?
well, I mean, yeah, but I mean they essentially seem to already know. I mean, um,
They know that they're stupid for what they're trying to pull off out here, and that they're going to die, and that
they're
they're not.
they're poor people trying to make money to get a leg up.
So I mean, they're for sale.
Well, no,
Maybe.
they're not for sale. They're
Why not?
they're poor people that are trying to make money to get out of the poor.
Right, they're selling themselves. They're hireable, if you will.
Yeah, they're contract labor workers.
Right, and they could be outbid, and their contract negotiations are up. I mean, their contracts are up for negotiation with whoever's there with money, right?
I mean, essentially, yeah, and I mean they are on the extended leg of their contract, which was supposed to have been over in a year, but they have now been out for 2 years, and the extension will end in 6 months. So they are assuming that there will be a craft that comes out and replaces them with a new round of workers. He also tells you that 9 is a workshop and that 8 is missile storage.
Missiles, huh?
Now he says these two idiot scavengers. They were in missile storage. They have opted to not touch those missiles because their Geiger counters were going off the charts.
Oh fuck yeah, nukes! We
Um,
love nukes.
But if they're leaky nukes, we don't really want that. Maybe is there a way to expel them so that like we could shoot them towards the black hole? Who gives a fuck, you know?
Oh, just sit here and launch nukes and
How
See?
often do you get a chance to do that? I
Just
guess?
Holy fuck!
shoot nukes into a black hole.
And not
Yeah,
get in trouble.
we're gonna do that then. So we
Totally.
need to
Okay.
have, we need to have. I wonder if we could just use a missile launcher here on the thing, just run power to it.
Well, there aren't any. They already scavenged all of those. Any that were left. He does tell you that this is the armory, and he says that they pretty much already picked it over, but there is the last thing in there that is still in there is a suit of TL-14 improved battle dress that is in very poor condition.
Ooh. It's all radioactive. We can toast stuff on it.
Yes. Yes.
Well, I mean, we might get
We'll
we
get
might
money
want
for
to
it.
gather that and put it into our armory, clean it up, put it in better repair, maybe, and then
Yeah.
just because we don't know at any given time, some dude's gonna fucking fuck with Chris, talking about, hey man, I want to join your fucking clique, and then he'll have his own little box, and he'll have bullshit, he'll have dick, he'll have
Mhm.
nothing, he'll have like a fucking duffel bag, right? And
Right.
and so we'll say, here, man, throw these on.
It'll make all your pubic hair fall out, but
Yeah,
and you'll glow in the dark. But beyond that, you're fine.
we could make it custom, man, so it looks like it's got like these two balls at the stomach, and it comes up so the head is the dick, and it'll be the dickhead suit, and it'll have like a big imprint of the shaft just going right up their chest, so it yeah. Oh yeah.
So
And
It's the
then
new guy armor.
yeah, the new guy armor. And so you've got this dickhead armor until you can get paid to get yourself some fucking real battle dress. But you probably won't die now. So
Yeah.
probably.
Yeah, we're going, you're gonna die if you're wearing that fucking jumpsuit, buddy. And the vac suit's not gonna cut it neither.
Mm-mm.
You'll need some battle dress. I
Can
mean,
we get it? Can the robots bring it or something, or do we have to do it physically?
Well, so
I've got a repair drone that'll
so-
lift that shit and grab it.
so Ting, you do find something that could potentially be usable.
Okay.
You find two 100-ton hydrogen fuel tanks. Now, the problem is, and they are intact. I mean, they've got some leakage, but they could be repaired. That those could be used for your starport. Now, 100 tons would be enough, for instance, to fill the fuel of the Rasputin.
Mm.
Now,
Well,
the problem is you don't have any cargo space to put them in.
no, but we
Yeah, that
could
would be
take
too
them
big.
to a location and order the Osiris to come pick them up, because the Osiris with two 100-ton fuel tanks on either side of it becomes a very, very, very good.
They couldn't do that
Why couldn't it?
because they're fuel tanks. They are not ships. They are fuel tanks.
We
They
couldn't.
were a part of a ship.
Right.
The Osiris, those are docking clamps. That
Right.
makes the assumption that one, it has to be a 200-ton ship. Can't be a 100-ton. It can't be a 400-ton. It has to be a 200-ton ship. And two, because it is a docking clamp, that means that the ship that is attaching to it has to have some place to dock to. They don't just. They're not just hands off the ends of the ship. They don't just grab
Right.
onto anything. They are docking clamps.
Could we modify these tanks so they would fit on the docking clamps, and we could attach them that way?
That would not at 100 tons now.
So we'd have to.
You're essentially talking about building a frame for a 200-ton craft to carry a 100-ton. It would be. You would need to build a dry dock. You're talking about months worth of work.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So we need a big freighter or something in order to tote these big bad boys.
You would need something bigger, yeah.
We'll
All
know
right,
they're
but-
here as long as the whole system doesn't implode.
It would be something that I could go ahead and see about refueling the Anubis.
They're empty.
They're empty.
Like I said,
Okay,
they do have they are leaky. They've got holes through them, but they could be repaired.
fair enough. I will log them in so that way I know about where they are. If it comes down to, if I have my way with it, we'll steal any ship that comes in here to pick these fuckheads up, and then we can put the fucking tanks on there, and then we won't be wanted by anybody because nobody knows about this place.
So
This
as
place is no man's land. Is that right?
nobody, very few people know about it. I mean,
Yeah.
the salvage company, Vikand will tell everybody, in telling the tale, that the salvage company that they were working for on Palindrome, the owner, if you can call him that, he's essentially a old pirate that has, in air quotes, gone straight and narrow. Um, is operating this business out of Palindrome. And his version of straight and narrow is not exactly the same as the rest of ours. He plays pretty fast and loose with any typical labor laws that we would know. For instance, a 14-year-old kid is fucking working. So there's that.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. I'm like, if Captain Beth will let me hijack anybody's shit, it'd be the guys that took advantage of these poor people. You know?
I mean,
Yeah, so that's what I'm thinking as I'm on the Nubis, and I'm just
they're
talking
not even
out
going to
loud.
bother to show up for another hopefully in another 6 months. But Vikand also tells you that the biggest problem that so essentially this pirate owner of the salvage company hired all these people to come out here and do salvage work, and if they find something especially unique and special, I mean, when he talks about salvage work, he's talking about it doing exactly the same thing that Ting was just talking about doing. And so, they're basically out here for a year or 2 years and 6 months in this case, shipbreaking and taking back, crystal iron armor and hull structure and things like that can then be melted down and reprocessed and probably sold to thief for the most part.
Mm.
And so any weapon systems and whatnot, or computer systems, those are above and beyond, and then they get a bonus. And so Vikand and Athel are really excited about the fact that they found an intact computer core, because that will be worth a shit ton of money, especially a TL-14 computer core. However, Athel, being the computer nerd that he is, got a little bit more excited because he realized that there was still data on this thing, although it is heavily corrupted. And so Athel thinks that it was his idea, we can give them the computer core back, but what if we just made a copy of the data that's on here, and then we could sell it ourselves to the highest bidder? Because tech level 14 Sindalian Empire data could be infinitely valuable. I mean, literally priceless to the right buyer. And so Vikand is really putting all of his hopes in Athel getting this data off, because this would be the end of ever having to do this kind of work again.
Well, what if we're the right buyer and they can cut out the middleman and take their tumors somewhere else?
Potentially, yes. But I mean, potentially, the data on that, assuming that they can fix it. Assuming that Athel can fix it, and how long it took Shenanigans just to put the data to get here together. The kid's obviously brilliant. He's a prodigy, but you don't think that he necessarily has the tools or the time to do by hand what would be required to do, because this data has been out here in a highly irradiated area of space, and all of its bits are flipped. And so, I mean, to do that by hand for something the size of a tech level 14 computer core on a 25,000 ton ship, you know, he probably doesn't have that many years left, to be quite honest.
Yeah.
That's if he was 100% healthy. But you can see where he's going with this.
We'll have to do it for him, is the thing. We'll just have to take over his project for him and maybe get him some medical attention and maybe offer him new jobs. You know? I mean, really, how loyal could all these guys really be to this company that is abandoning them?
It's not that they're loyal. It's that they're trying to get money, for one, and two, they have no way to leave.
Yeah, but we need workers, and we have a way for them to leave, right?
Well, I mean, you could load them all up, I guess, potentially on your ship. I mean, it's going to be a little cramped.
It would be pretty handy to have salvage people. It'd suck if they all died, no matter what we did.
They're going to die here. I mean, they're probably
do they know about the anomaly thing every 400 years coming, or not really?
So, yes, and we'll get to that conversation in just a minute. So Beth, you get into the bridge, and you learned that the bridge has mostly remained intact and is and sealed. So, if you were so inclined, and this would be almost a complete waste of time, but if you wanted to try and turn on internal atmosphere, at least the bridge would maintain air. The rest of the ship wouldn't. You couldn't open any of the doors, but that would be a possibility. And just looking around the place, you can tell that it looks like the crew seem to abandon their stations. And they're, because there's no gravity, the personal effects are just floating around the room. Personal data pads and mobile comms, things like that, are floating around. Obviously dead, have been for many years. And all of these are just floating around. But you do see that there is in the center of the room, there is a makeshift console wired to the captain's station. And you can see that on this console, there is a black globe with the rainbow printed handprint on it. Now, if you remember, you found these in Mystery of BT-SHT 365, and I don't remember who it was, but
Ching Shi was the one that could read them.
That's right, Ching Shi.
Was all
and she got a migraine headache and a bloody nose and all sorts of. The way she described it was that she got visions of essentially the entire universe at war.
But we have a receptacle for them at the palace, I believe, that we can plug them into and retrieve things without being a psychic.
I hope so.
Well, you have something. It's very similar to what this is sitting on. It's some kind of computer console pedestal. But as far as being able to get it to do anything, you haven't really figured out how to do that, and you haven't really spent a whole lot of time working on it. But the one thing that you do notice, Beth, is that unlike the other globes that you saw, so on the previous ones, it seemed like the rainbow-colored handprint was almost scintillating, like it was maybe glowing or vibrant and moving. This one isn't doing that. It's just there, but it's not doing anything.
Maybe it got too nuclear or something.
But you are able to see that there are on some of the consoles on the bridge, there is some LED lights on. You can see that Keith's emergency power that he restored to get the door open has made it at least up to here. And so if you wanted to, you could check some of these consoles.
All right. I feel comfortable doing that.
And then, of course, out of here, there is a door on the west side of the bridge that you're not sure what's in there. but you would imagine on a ship this size, that's probably like the captain's ready room.
Maybe they have some kind of written records. I could go look there really quick.
Yeah, whichever you want to do first. I mean, you're already here. Did you? Okay, so you're going to run over there. So, opening this door, you do find that this is the captain's office, and the first. Make an athletics dexterity check.
11.
Oh, okay. So that's actually really good. You open the door, and coming right for your faceplate, it looks is a glass bottle, and you reach out and you grab it before it hits your faceplate, and you look at it and realize that this is a bottle of Sindalian whiskey that's well over 1,000 years old, and it is still corked.
Oh, sweet.
It is worth just eyeballing it. You're guessing that this is worth tens of thousands of credits.
And
Maybe hundreds of thousands of credits.
King Olaf sure would have loved this.
Yeah. Oh, this reminds me of Oleb.
Yeah.
So aside from that, in here, this is essentially just a just an officer's or just the captain's office. There's not really any written records. It looks like there were other bottles of whiskey. Most of them have floated around and busted.
Yeah.
This is the last one that's actually intact.
All right. So I should check out over here next one.
So, looking through the emergency power that is coming in, you can see that it looks like there is some astrogation data that's coming up. You can make a let's see, astrogation plus intellect or education.
I have that. Let's see. If I don't know what I'm doing, I'm going to call somebody who knows. I have astrogation 1. What have I shot? I got 8.
Okay, so you are bringing up some very faint astrogation data, and it takes you about 5 minutes to go through this, but it is showing from this location that there is a course set for 3 different worlds from here. One being, it looks like Newman, one being Tech World, and one being Thief.
Okay, I will copy that information to the best of my ability.
Okay. So, Keith, you and Athel, it takes you about another 40 minutes, and Athel and Keith are able to get this wiring harness and a couple of main boards that Athel points out. And Athel, the whole time, is really excited to show Keith this computer core on the colony. He's like, because Athel explains it in plain terms that it seems like Keith might be the only person out of everybody out here right now that is going to understand what he's doing.
Well, I'm excited too.
I'm excited to steal everything on it.
So I should just take the orb, right?
Yeah.
If nobody else wants it.
Oh, we want it. We want everything.
We
Okay.
definitely want the orb.
Okay, fair price for everything.
Well,
and
mean,
if you remember,
you're higher ranking in the Sindalian army than any of these motherfuckers.
So if you remember, there were originally 3 of these things.
Yeah.
And you only recovered 2. One
So maybe we ought to put the other
disappeared.
two. Yeah, maybe we ought to put the two with this and see what happens.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm very
Yeah.
curious if we can do that. You might have to find somebody with psionics or something.
Can we still contact Qingxi?
I mean, that could take.
We killed her girlfriend.
She.
It was messy.
So the last that you heard from Ching Shi, she was heading coreward towards the Spinward Marches. You're not sure where she might be.
Ooh.
She could be somewhere near the Sword Worlds. She could be near the Jodani border. You're not sure.
I thought the deal was it was because she was psionic. She could read them. I didn't know if it was like anything about her specifically.
Partially. Right. So normies, like you guys, touching the orb doesn't do anything.
Yeah, that sounds right.
But there is somebody that you could contact that might have.
37.
Right. Correct.
Oh.
Ow, blah, 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 blah. Go gadget memory. Yeah.
You haven't talked to 37 in a while. You could look to see where she ended up, and you could contact her.
I thought,
Nice.
didn't she like at one of our bases?
She was at the
We had like
at the base at the Borite gas giant for a while.
I thought she was at like some homestead that we had. It was like we took over one of the factions of the planet. Thought we left her there because we had a mansion and a fucking people that were training.
Oh, that was on Corbin?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
no.
maybe
I thought we left her on Marduk because we knew all the people who like lived off the land, and then she didn't have to see computers or anything ever again.
Right.
I
Well,
thought that.
you haven't talked to her for a while, so I mean, I remember that she was on Borite for a while, and then I think you're right. I think you did leave her with the Aboriginals on Marduk, but whether she's still there or not, you don't know. Nobody's gone back to check.
And we are so well received when we go to Marduk.
Yeah, let's all
people
go
on
there.
Marduk really
right
love
now.
you.
But you know, the show must go on, and fuck those people.
They used to like us.
Yeah, they did.
We just need to give them a concert.
Well, the people the people that you discovered, one, nobody believes that they actually exist, and two, they still love you, but it's really the government of Marduk and the Starport Authority, not so much.
So we just need to sneak in. That's all, and
Right.
talk with the backwoods people. That's no big deal. We're good at that. We're
So
good at
pretty much like if you're going to the Ozarks and you want to get, ginseng, you need to sneak in and talk to the backwoods people. Yeah. But nobody see that History Channel show?
No.
Not me.
Yeah, there's this whole thing like ginseng is like a big thing, and they've only, I guess you only have like 2 or 3 months of a growth cycle, and most of the time it of course is growing on either federal land or somebody else's land. It seems like it's never on your land. It's always somewhere you're not supposed to be. And so these guys go out, and it's kind of like the guys that are growing weed up in the national forests, in Oregon and Washington. You stumble across somebody's ginseng farm that's on your property, they're likely to shoot you and to keep you away from it. And they run around like steal each other's ginseng. And I remember watching, so I'm like, you mean the shit that they put in fucking Monster Energy drink? That ginseng? Like, this isn't like special, like, hallucinogenic ginseng. This is just fucking ginseng. Like, yes, like, and they sell it by the bushel, and they sell it like, the gator hunters do in Louisiana. Same type of thing. They harvest it and they rush it down, and they sell it, and they get X number of hundreds of dollars per bushel. It's the damnedest thing. I was like, you got to be fucking kidding me. It's ginseng. I mean, the
It's
gators
not
I can
that good,
understand.
yeah.
I mean, the gators I understand because they bite back, and those fuckers are dangerous. But you're talking about an herb that has the similar properties to caffeine. What the fuck? Like, okay, whatever. wanna risk your life and go out and purchase an AR-15 just to protect your ginseng? Have at it.
Yeah.
Fucking rednecks. So yeah, you can pick up this black glove and it's not going to do anything to you.
Good. I'm glad I didn't get some kind of space disease or
I
psychic
picked up this black
invasion.
glove. Now I got space herpes. Shit.
Well, if you need, I have the repair drone. No drone. I mean, it's not sentient, so it can definitely pick shit up. It's like a humanoid shaped robot made to repair stuff.
Well, I already touched it. I already rolled the dice on that one.
I'm just saying, if you need
It's too
anything,
late now.
I can send a repair drone. I can control it actually and come, take anything you need if you can't.
So
Keith has all the skills the droid.
Ting, make a recon plus intellect check.
But I'm using my eyes. 9.
Okay. And these guys.
Was I making that, or was my droid making that?
You're making that. So you did get a 9?
Yes.
Okay. So with your 9, out of the corner of your eye, you can see that the slow pinnace is now approaching. It's been about 45 minutes, and the slow pinnace is approaching. And distances being what they are, it is still a speck of a dot. But you can see the speck of a dot. It looks like it's gotten bigger, and it's getting closer. And it also looks like they have. You can see that your console is reading that there is an EM surge coming from it.
They're probably scanning, looking. I'll go ahead and hit them up on comms.
Okay, so what are you saying?
Yeah. Slow Penis. This is an Anubis. We have docked with the wreckage that your friends are currently working on, and we've saved them from a robotic assault. Right now we're rendering them aid. I believe everybody is pretty much okay. Please.
Yeah, just checking to see. Like, did you? There were grenades thrown. There was.
Mhm.
It looks like they all made it. Yeah.
Yeah. So that I'm gonna be like, so we expect your arrival shortly. Please be advised that we are an armed Sindalian vessel, and you guys have been looting a Sindalian vessel.
So at that last, they're completely on board until that last part, and they're like, can you repeat? You're a Sindalian vessel?
Oh yeah, we are. But I'm just really jerking your chain. It's cool. Come on in. I would have blown you up a long time ago if I.
Yeah, if I was really a Sindalian vessel, you'd already been dead.
Yeah, you guys would have been dead. Come on, we're gonna be friends.
That is a good point. Well, so the other thing is, so they scanned and they got a pretty good check on their scan, but even a 12 wasn't enough. That they didn't even notice that the Harrier was attached until you calmed them. And so they go ahead and make their make their approach.
Look, they're a slow pinnace. I'm not really worried about them fucking up my ship too much, or our ship. I
Sure.
mean,
Well,
it's our
they're going to
ship.
dock with the wreckage up here at the forward airlock, and so they do a slow burn, and it takes them. It's going to take them about another 50 minutes to come in and dock, but you could tell just by watching, like on the sensors, whoever this guy is piloting it, it seems like he's not really confident at the controls of a small craft. Like maybe this is like he doesn't do this very often, so he's very slow and deliberate. He's one of those drivers that on the freeway he gets into the slow lane and does the exact speed limit. He's one of those guys. Not 3 miles over, but the exact speed limit. And if he's doing 5 miles under and people are passing him, he gets fucking pissed off. He's one of those guys, and he's making a very slow approach at thrust one, like being very very careful, like he doesn't want to scratch the paint job. And on your sensors, you've got visual contact. This slow pinnace looks like shit. It has been beat to hell. So there isn't a lick of paint on it. You know.
Slow pinnace. This is the Anubis. What the fuck happened to your ship, man? What the fuck?
The one of the crew kind of laughs and he says, "They don't really give us the best equipment out here." He says, "Now, granted, it looked a little bit better when we got it." And he looks at her and goes, "But Joseph here isn't the best pilot."
Well,
And you can hear the pilot like kind of say, "I've been practicing."
well, there you go. Well, I'm glad you're
strong.
docking on the other side of the ship.
So they dock and they come in, and Vikand kind of meets up with everybody and tells you guys. He says, "You're welcome to come along with us on our pinnace, or we can load everything into the pinnace, use it strictly for cargo. It has 30.8 tons of cargo space, so." They were planning to really load it up, and he says, and then we could ride with you guys. He's like, however you want it, however you feel this would be the best way to do it.
Let's have them ride with us, especially anybody who's like whoever has the most concerning symptoms that wants a checkup, I guess.
Okay. So yeah, it takes about another hour for them to load everything that they've scavenged up. So looking at these missiles, you do find in number 8 that there are 12 nuclear warheads that are in storage.
But they're like leaky, right?
Well,
Like
your Geiger counters are going off. What you see when you go in and check them is that, I mean, your radiologicals are registering that these are nukes. The scavengers saw their Geiger counters go off and just got really fucking nervous.
So they're good. We can take them.
There are. It looks like the dreadnought. You can see that there are a lot of empty slots. So whatever this dreadnought was doing, it shot off most of its missiles, but there are 12 that are in storage. Now, they've been sitting here for 1,000 years. So, take that for what you will.
Yeah,
There's a rack of them. That's pretty nice.
Yeah, but I don't want to get like cancer because I was trying to save a buck. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, I mean,
is that Totino's Pizza really worth it? We should just go to Papa Murphy's.
well, I mean, I can go down there and check it out. I mean, my battle dress is really more suited for that kind of shit than combat anyway, you know? Because my battle dress, I have the
Whoever
I have the combat pioneer
whoever
battle
wants to make
dress.
a gunner turret plus intellect or education check can do a once over on these missiles.
Tell me what. One. Okay. Ooh, that'll work. 14.
Wow, a 14.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to tell you everything you need to know. Hold on here.
My cat's drooling on me. What the heck? There we go.
So yeah, these 12 nukes, they're not leaking. They are intact. Along with the rack, you do find the remote detonators.
Ooh.
There's really nothing that would prevent you from loading these into your missile rack and firing them.
Cool.
Then we need to go ahead and get that doing, don't we?
Now, what you would need to do is you would need to you're talking about a formidable 14 plus computers plus intellect or education in order to transfer the detonator codes into your fire control system.
King can do that, right? He's got his intrusion software.
Yeah, he's got intrusion software and.
Oh, I've also got a set of codes. I mean, that might. I mean, I've got some really good and prestigious Sindalian codes with some really high rank behind them.
That's true.
And so I mean, I might not need to make too much of a tech at all. I might need just to choose the right. I mean, because we've got royal codes.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, you do.
So I mean, yeah, I was really, the damn robot died before it got chance to be Ting's turn. The fucking Han Solo and Han Duo fucked him up. But I was gonna try to shoot the codes at the motherfucker and see if I could get the mutiny bot to calm down and be assimilated.
Yeah,
but
to be quite honest, I was gonna give you some salvage from that bot, but Han Duo really did it.
Oh man, that
Han Duo
fucking
tore
plasma
his
cannon.
ass up.
Fuck yeah, man. Woo! So, but anyway, I mean, I'd already kind of had these codes on my mind. I mean, it never got to my turn, so I didn't get to try to play that card.
Do you guys play Cards Against Humanity?
We
No,
have.
but
Yeah.
yeah.
Have you seen the newest card, the newest white card, demolishing that ass like a Palestinian village? Like holy fuck! Yep, that's Cards Against Humanity. Yes.
Very
Wow.
topical.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. They're on top of it all the time. So
I
yes.
just remember them mailing huge packages of shit to people. Do you remember that?
Oh,
It was
yeah.
the
Yes.
bullshit expansion pack, and it was literally manure.
Yes.
And someone was like, "Oh no, I ordered this by mistake. How do I back out?" He was emailing customer service, and they're like, "The wheels of fate are already in motion.
Yes.
Nothing
Yes.
can be done." I'm like,
Yep. Nothing can be done now.
Too bad.
Good stuff. So okay, so yeah, they load these up, and or I assume you're going to take the 12 nukes because they don't want them.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
Like we can put these to use. Ting, I'll go ahead and allow you to make your computer. Go and make a computer plus, computers plus intellect or education check, using your Sindalian kit.
okay. Do I get any? I get a +1 because I'm 1 grade higher than them.
Yep.
Right. And do I get like any code breaker skills or anything? I've got software and shit is what I'm asking.
Well,
do I need all that, or am I just using a code?
If you're just using your Imperial codes, go ahead and try them.
I'm gonna just use my code then, and see how this works out. With a 12.
Okay, so you go to to essentially transfer the code, and you use your Imperial Royal Code that you have, or rather your Sindalian Imperial Royal Code, and it takes a little bit, and the screen is kind of blipping in and out, like there is some corruption there, but then finally the code, you put it in like 3 times, and finally the code works, and it transfers the detonation codes over to your fire control system. One of the things that you notice at the very last minute as it's transferring, or right before it's about to transfer those fire control codes, is it says Royal codes accepted, disabling nuclear detonation system.
Yeah.
So essentially, if it didn't accept those codes, all 12 of those nukes were going to go off.
That's when you put your nuts on the table and dare the DM to hit them. Yeah, that's what happened right there.
Are you going to share with everyone how close you came to death, or are we going to remain blissfully unaware?
No, man, it's all according to my plan. There's no reason for me to tell anybody about
it all
that.
happened the way I thought it was supposed to.
Yeah,
I would have kept it to myself too.
Yeah, I was just, hey guys, I was almost killed everybody, but I did it.
Give me
and I
one
learned
second.
nothing.
I'll be right back. Yeah, I learned nothing. I'll be right back.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna hold on to that information. I do think we ought to go down and help ourselves to their pile of shit. I mean,
we should pay them handsomely, and then see if they want to. Maybe they want to go fuck off somewhere. Maybe they want jobs still. I don't know. But I feel like they won the lottery by finding the computer core, and their boss sucks. So fucking right.
If their boss shows up, I want to take his ship.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
I doubt he'd mess with us too much because we're notorious.
I don't think he's gonna have much of a choice when the wheels in motion of ship season goes into effect. You just can't stop that once you've started. You know, you've got to take their ship, and it's just for the good of them. It's so that they will learn the. I don't know what they'll learn. Yeah, they'll learn to be well. You know, they're gonna come out. They'll probably end up dead. Out here, we don't need. You know, we don't need prisoners. We don't have a prison on this ship.
Well, not yet. So you guys come back and load up the crew, the salvage crew. And I mean, yeah, you've got staterooms for them to rest in, and of course you did have this right here, 7A, installed, which is a sick bay. Either 7 or 7A. I think it was 7A. I think is your low berths, and then 7 is your sick bay. So, yeah. So the slow pinnace takes off, and Beth kind of follows them. Like I said, they're only going at 1G of thrust. Are you going to pass them and say meet you there, or are you just going to?
What's like the etiquette? I don't know. It seems kind of rude to smoke them.
That's true.
We can
go slow. That's fine.
I mean, yeah, we can go slow and creep and give these people. I mean, aren't you wanting to give them medical checkups and shit?
Oh yeah. So it'd be better to not fly super fast.
So yeah, I mean, you can just set the ship's autopilot, more or less, and you can come down here to actually, I guess it's 7A is the sick bay, and you can kind of give them a once over.
Cool.
Can't the crewbot pilot?
Crewbot could pilot.
Yeah, the crewbot pilot.
Okay. I mean, You have an autopilot. You can.
They can both pilot, I guess.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
it's probably a
Gregor-
good idea to have the bot at least monitor. Just in case. So Beth, so the now that these guys are out of, I mean, you don't even have to make a roll. Some of these guys take off their helmets and get out of their vac suits and are pretty much just standing there in their spacer overalls, or as some people like to call them, speed suits. And some of these guys, just looking at their face, you can tell all of them, even the 14-year-old kid, Athel, you can tell all of them have significant signs of radiation sickness. A lot of them are coughing. Most of them are coughing up blood. One guy, it takes him a second to get his helmet off, and he kind of has to wiggle it left or right because he has a near permanent inflammation of his lymph nodes. And so it's just like his neck and head are all the same width all the way around. And many of them have lesions, open lesions on their face, and I mean, you're just seeing their face just on quick glance. You're assuming that it looks this way all over. But you can go ahead and make a medic plus intellect or education check, and you can add a +2 to that for your sick bay.
Wow, it's gonna be a good one. Yeah, like 15. It's crazy.
Badass.
You got something insanely high.
Yeah, like 15.
Okay, so yeah, definitely. So you're guessing? I mean, they could be treated, but it would take far more than the capabilities of your meager little sick bay. I mean, most of these guys, if you were to get them back to like the floating palace and have them in the hospital at the Scholars Tower, they might be in there for a month. But this could be, I won't say cured. I will say it could be resolved. But no matter what, you're not seeing that any of these individuals would have the normal lifespan that they would have before they'd have been out here.
Okay, but they're not like on death's door. They're not gonna die in like 4 months or something.
I mean, you're able to administer some anti-rads and get them by. But I mean, some of them, even with the anti-rads, you're looking at them like, I don't know.
Yeah, they need to get the fuck out of here.
Yeah,
Like, this is appalling.
your diagnosis is they're waiting for a ship to come replace them in 6 months, and you don't think any of them have 6 months. You're not sure half of them have a month.
Okay.
That's being generous.
Well, I'll tell the truth, I suppose. But if they wait 6 months, they're all probably gonna be dead by then. So that's not good. But we'll see if we can reach an agreement about the computer core and everyone will be happy.
So,
We can definitely change the date that you get put in the ground if you'd like.
And so this is Vikand Duvant, who is the colony administrator, and his wife Anissa is the current colony advisor. Basically, she's the direct one underneath him, and then of course there is Athel. Is on your ship presently. So there is
There's
Athel,
Apple.
the 14-year-old colony computer tech, and so Vikand then of course goes over and tells you how Athel's parents were killed in an airlock cycling incident aboard one of the wreckages that they were doing a salvage on, and so Vikand and Anissa kind of, I guess they adopted him. I was gonna say took
Oh.
ownership, but that's probably not the right. That's probably not the proper nomenclature. And so he, I mean, this kid has had a rough childhood. He grew up poor, and obviously on Palindrome, or else they wouldn't have been out here to begin with. And then now his parents are dead, and he seems to have the attitude. He seems to take it all in stride, and but especially Keith, you would notice this, and it's pretty. You don't have to be a psychologist to get it. He seems to really throw himself into his computer work, like that's his way of avoiding his shitty life of living out here in orbit around a black hole. And so you guys are you give these people a once over, and it that takes you probably a good 2.5-3 hours to go over all of them, and you've got them all in the auto. Well, you only have the one autodoc, so probably not a whole.
Yeah.
But you've given them all anti-rads and kind of gotten them past the puking stage. And you are coming up on this colony, and the colony, you make it back to the bridge. You see the colony. And the colony itself is, I mean, this is the first thing that you see is this, what looks like a section of the colony is floating off the ground, connected by a number of power cables and computer lines, and your comms come to life, and you hear this woman say, "Who the hell are you? You come in. Who are you? You can dock on pad 1, our only pad. But who the hell are you?" And you can hear some static through the line, and she, "Respond! Damn it, shit's falling apart. Hello? Help!" And it goes static again.
I'll send a message back. This is
I
Team
thought we have her husband's on board. Have him say, "Hi, we're on board. It's okay."
So yeah, he comes up and he goes, "Yeah, Anissa's really been riding my ass." So he points out and he says that piece that's floating, he says that was pad 2, and the every once in a while there seems to be a gravity fluctuation due to the black hole, and it just kind of tore itself free. And he says it's on my to-do list, but he's like, fixing the pad doesn't generate money, and so it hasn't been exactly on my high priority list. I kind of want to get this computer core up and running, because from what the kid tells me, this is going to be worth bank if we can get it working.
Yeah, I agree with those priorities. That it makes sense.
He says, but God, don't let it slip to Anissa that I said that, because
what technical level are these landing pad setups?
So let's see here. So the way I wrote it, it says the colony technically has 2 landing pads. The larger pad used for supply ships, and then the smaller pad used for the 2 slow pinnaces. However, the smaller pad has broken free of its moorings and now floats 12 meters above the ground. It is tethered to broken moorings by the tenuous wiring harness of the beacon lights. Repairing the pad and securing it back to the ground is number 1 with a bullet and an underline on the to-do list of shit to do that is posted in the operations center. So, yeah, I mean, you're talking. I mean, from what you're seeing of this entire colony, maybe tech level 10, including the pads.
If they had better tech, I'd want to steal it. Fuck. I mean, because, a landing pad, surely that would come in handy on rebuilding a spaceport. So, I'm just taking a stock of things.
Well, I mean, technically, building a landing pad isn't that hard. I mean, that they actually have one made of metal is really neither here nor there, because really all they had to do is go out there with, a plasma gun man portable and just flatten the Earth and say, okay, there you go, there's a spot to land. But, here we are. And so Vikand kind of, he asks if it's okay if he uses your comm to calm his wife down.
Of course.
Yeah, of course.
So,
Please do.
He gets on the comm and he kind of adjusts. And he goes, "Wow." He goes, it's so nice to use communications that actually work. And he sends a message to her. He says, "Anissa, stand down. We have some friends that are coming in. We will be landing on pad 1." And he then switches frequencies over to the pinnace, and he tells the pinnace to just to do a wilderness landing and get as close to the colony as possible.
Oh, geez. I hope they're okay.
Right? So
It is rough out here.
yeah. So the guy, the slow pinnace, the responses, you can almost hear them turn pale over the comms, and you hear the guy kind of shakily say affirmative, and you see this pinnace kind of swing around and land, and you see one side of it land first, and then the other side land, and then it kind of rocks back and forth, and finally comes down. And they make it down, but it's not the smoothest of landings. This is the layout of this colony, and so this number 1 is your pads. The larger pad is actually where you are at, with the smaller pad actually having broken free and is floating 12 meters up. And then this is the central airlock into the prefab colony interior. And it is the only entrance into the colony.
All right.
They weren't thinking about fire safety when they put it down. And so, he leads you into this airlock, and he goes up to the door, and he hits the cycle code, and he, through his helmet tells you that, okay, we have to wait just a second, and you can see in through the window, and it literally, you can see, even without looking through his faceplate, just his body stance. You can see Keith suddenly get very sad, because there are loose wires that dangle from overhead in the interior of the airlock, and every once in a while sparks rain down. This is while the airlock is cycling and filling with oxygen, right?
Yeah.
And so, every once in a while a spark goes off and Keith kind of jumps a little bit like he's got PTSD. And you do, oh God, let me see, is this in here? It is. You see on as the door cycles open and you step in, you see that there is a poster on the wall that is an advertisement for duct tape. in both Volani and in and in Anglic at the bottom, and it's for Atmo brand duct tape. And their motto is Atmo, giving you options when nothing else will. And somebody has just sprayed the shit out of it with spray paint, like they were testing different colors for some reason. And and looking around, you can see that it's clear that they do indeed use a lot of duct tape here.
I would too. Holy shit.
Like some of the suits that are hanging in the airlock have duct tape sealing up certain parts of them, and it doesn't look like there's been any attempt made to do repairs beyond that. Like whatever gets you by. Yeah, whatever gets you by for today works fine. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
So finally the airlock cycles, and you come into the operations center, and you can see that there is over here there is a large the before mentioned to-do list of shit to do. It is labeled that, and there is this woman sitting behind the behind a desk in the center. And this would be Anissa Duvant.
Gonna die too. Sorry.
So Anissa, I mean, so just Beth, your quick glance at Anissa, she has some signs of radiation damage, but she doesn't have nearly as bad as her husband or some of the other guys. And this is mostly, of course, because she is part of the administrative staff. She doesn't leave the colony very often. So it looks like the rest of the crew, most of them, because they're not administrative staff, they would be going out probably, if not daily, at the very least every other day. So, I mean, you're talking, 6 to 7 days a week. And if not on that routine, probably out of a week, probably 4 days at least. So a lot of these other guys are way worse off than she is. But this desk, you can tell she shares the administrative duties of the colony with her husband, who frequently isn't there. And she also sitting on her desk is a big roll of Atmo brand duct tape that she uses for almost everything, and she'll even tell you this includes, like, it works great as a Band-Aid if you really need to. Rub a little dirt in it and then wrap it with duct tape and you're fine. And there are on the inside here, you see that these doors have duct tape on them that are sealing certain portions of them. I mean, the whole place. And,
it's like the ship of Theseus, but like if you replace everything with duct tape, is it the same space colony?
Right. The other thing that you immediately notice is that the desk is bifurcated. One side being Vikand's, and you can tell that it's his because his stacks of paperwork are all neatly stacked. Doesn't mean that he's gone through them, but they're all neatly stacked. And then there's the rest of the desk, which would be her side, that shit's just everywhere in a mad mess, with notes scribbled on every piece of general paper. And she, of course, this is a large touch screen with the to-do list on it, that she updates more than twice a day, but she's constantly frustrated because neither her husband or the rest of the colony staff seem to be ticking anything off the list. And it seems like she'll be the first to tell you that it seems like there's at least 2 more things that get added to the list every day. And of course, you could swipe left, and there would be a page 2 to this list, and but number 1 is fixing that pad. And so she immediately is apologizing. she's like, I didn't know that we were going to have any guests. And her first immediate question is this our relief? And Vikand says, no, they're. He goes. Then Vikand turns and he goes, that's a really good question. Who the hell are you guys? What are you doing out here?
We were investigating a mystery, and we're coming from the planet of Drinax. We're looking for just such a thing as the computer core you found. So it's kind of like you won the lottery to run into us rather than have to have someone broker it for you.
Yeah, he definitely after the medical diagnosis, he really agrees with that, and he does tell. He turns. He says, "Yeah." He says immediately. He says we need to pack our shit. We're getting everybody out of here. And he says like, well, what do you mean? I mean, the relief ship's not. And he goes, we don't have time to wait for that. If we don't, he says, and he looks at you. He goes, if I understand this right, if we don't leave, we're looking at possibly being dead within a month from this.
Some of the people will be dead within a month. Yeah.
And
So I've got a fun idea. I mean, what if, like, while they're all packing up and everything, like, I just stalk around in my camouflaged and hunt them all. And guys will say that, you know, your scanners have picked up something fucked up and mysterious on the horizon, and we will have our own little horror story here and we will thin them out considerably.
Only killed the most mutated ones.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like the most fucked up ones, you know, they'll
the
be
one
like,
with the
well,
second head that's growing. Yeah, we can take him out.
Dude with the second head, he went to
There's
go out to
plausible
the
deniability.
well, you just send the most fucked up ones out to the pinnace, right? And then they just don't come back, right? And then you'd be like, well, what happened with the shit on the pinnace? And be like, I don't know. Y'all better go get it.
That's so mean.
So
We're a nice group of pirates.
Oh yeah, all right.
so
Not really, but this time, yes.
so
We'll be nice this time.
So Anissa says, all right, well, we'll pack things up. And Vikand says, well, he says, before we really, you know, get into packing our stuff from the bunkhouse, he says, me and my crew need some coffee and we need something to eat. And he says, why don't you come with me and we'll go down and get something to eat.
All right, let's do it.
So he brings you guys into the mess hall. Before you guys can even leave through this passage to get into the mess hall, Athel is grabbing Keith's hand and pulling him towards this door. And he says, come on, don't get something to eat. You got to come with me. We got to see this computer.
I'll follow the boy.
Okay. So Keith and Athel make their way down to the computer section. The rest of you come down to the mess hall, and this is there's essentially almost every wall is filled with basically it looks like the food station at like a gas station. You see a lot of microwaves. You see a lot of vending machines, and the salvagers can use basically their own money that, keep in mind, will likely come back to them in the form of their paycheck. They can use their own money to purchase food out of these vending machines, mostly ever fresh food and whatnot, and then cook it in said microwaves. And they've got pretty much the worst possible coffee you've ever tasted. But you can see laying around, half-eaten soy packs. There's refuse. They don't bother to clean up because none of these people even give a shit anymore. And so there's trash on the floor. If it wasn't on an airless moon, there might be roaches and rats everywhere, but nothing can survive here. Barely the salvagers can survive here. And so, Vikand, of course, apologizes, and Anissa goes through and just heads straight down this direction. Keith, you come into the computer core section, and it looks like space monkeys with rabies might have gotten loose in here. It is a near disaster area. The first thing that this is gonna make your skin crawl. The first thing that you notice is every cable is the same color.
Oh no!
And they're duct taped together and strung all over the place, going to various areas. There's bundles of wire that cross the floor, all held down by duct tape. And there are sections of the ceiling that are completely opened up to allow for more network connections. And you see Athel just kind of move his way through all these wires and get to this central computer core that looks very out of place in here, because this computer core is, of course, TL14 compared to the rest of the room, which is all about TL10. And he goes over and he immediately crawls underneath into a side hatch and starts putting in some of these main boards and whatnot. And he is as he is plugging in these main boards, you can see that sections of it, because tech level 14, I would hope that a motherboard would be hot swappable by then. You can see that the screen that he has set up does start to come to life.
Nice.
Ooh, good for him.
I'm gonna check out the screen and see what's going on.
Okay, go ahead and make a computers plus intellect or education check.
Okay. 12.
Okay. So, yeah, you type in some stuff, and you can hear from underneath the computer, Athel's still plugging things in, and he says, see, I was right. I knew that would fix it. And stuff starts pouring in. And we'll explain that in about a moment. Meanwhile, you guys over here in the mess hall, Vikand is apologizing for the state of things. He says, honestly, I really haven't had time to deal with a lot of things. He says, mostly that smaller landing pad, he says, and our bad communications. He says, my wife has her to-do list, but I find that blocking the radiation is a lot more important. And finding the computer core, that's going to be our big score. He's like, the duct tape does for now, or at least I thought that it was. And he says, the rumor on Palindrome was that there somewhere in this wreckage was a massive computer core. He said nobody could specifically state that. He says, but there was this rumor that sooner or later somebody was going to find it. He says then the big part of the rumor was that there was a conscious intelligence in it. He says it's probably a wild Awua chase. He says, but he says, you know, if this is that core, he says, even without the conscious intelligence, it could be worth millions of credits. And he says, and with it, he goes, we could possibly never have to work again. He says we could, with that kind of money, he said, Athel, Anissa, and I could pack up and we could leave the Trojan Reach entirely behind us.
Is that what you do if you had the money?
He said probably. He says there's nothing but broken dreams here. He says,
well,
he says, you know, there's nothing in the Trojan Reach but broken dreams. He said, honestly, he goes, I would probably move the family somewhere towards deeper into the Imperium, maybe towards the core worlds.
Okay.
Head towards core. He says either that direction or I'd move out, you know, maybe into the Vanguard reaches. He goes, but he says, really, after my stint out here for the past 2 years, I'm really past the whole exploration thing. He says that exploration is not as adventurous as it sounds.
Having to stick it out here, I can understand. And radiation sickness makes people get fatigued. So I don't know how you can tackle the to-do list, honestly. Just like trying to build something up while somebody takes all the bricks away.
Right. Exactly. He says that's exactly what it's been like. He says, so I'm really hoping that this turns out to be, you know, what it's supposed to be. And Anissa comes walking in, and she's got a duffel bag, and she says, okay. So and she goes over and pours herself a cup of coffee, and she says, so who the hell are y'all? We don't get many visitors out here very often, and those that are unannounced are usually the bad kind. And Vikand looks over at you and he just shakes his head. He goes, "We haven't had any other visitors." And she out of the waistband of her jumper, she pulls out an auto pistol and just sets it on the table. And she says, "The only reason I'm not shooting people is because you're with my husband." And she kind of sits down and Vikand says, "Well," he says, "a scout found this awful parsec of space," and he says they didn't do much more than report that there was the orbits of this wreckage and that they were stable around a black hole. He says we've discovered over time that they're not exactly stable. Every once in a while, some of that wreckage breaks off and just gets sucked into the black hole, and we're hoping every day that that's not going to be us. But he says teams have been coming out here for the past 25 years. And he says the brokers that set up the teams, they of course get the lion's share, but there's always that hope that you'll find that one artifact that's going to make you rich. He says it has happened before. He says I think that computer core is going to be our strike. And he says Athel's a smart boy. He says smarter with computers than any of us. He says his parents were computer engineers, but they both died in an accident about 6 months ago. He doesn't talk about it, but I know he misses him. And Anissa and I have talked about adopting him when we get back to Palindrome. And he just kind of trails off. And he says, as far as I'm concerned, he's already ours. We're his home. On Keith's screen, you are seeing the following message: core memory damaged. Astrogation coordinates restored. Newman, 27 Mark 38 Mark 19. Tech World, 55 Mark 22 Mark 18. Thief, 31 Mark 44 Mark 95. Memory damaged. Run diagnostic, yes or no?
Well, yes, absolutely.
Go ahead and make a computers plus intellect or education check.
All right. Oh man, another 12.
Nice. So this diagnostic is going to take you about 6 hours to run.
That'll give us time to hammer out other shit in the other room. So.
Yeah.
So the rest of the crew is packing up their shit exactly as they were told to. To this section, number 7, is a workshop and apparently storage. They use this one room to pretty much do everything, but including break down salvage that they've brought in, and then they store it in containers and drums. Much of it is basically turned into spares, for starship spares for repairs, things like that. Hull plating is almost immediately used to shore up any radiation paneling that they have around the colony itself. But other items such as the workbench have various items in states of disrepair, and you can basically see that this area is used frequently, if not every day, every other day, and probably on an hourly basis for the most part. 6 is the bunkhouse, and so evidently everybody sleeps in the one bunkhouse. And there are 10 bunk beds and one double bed for Anissa and Vikand. And the entire place smells like soiled laundry, half-eaten soy packs, and bleach.
So we're going to have some serious hygiene discussions.
Yeah.
If we're going to go through jump space, I mean, these people need to understand that they're expected to shower and deodorize themselves.
I assume that once they got somewhere clean, they'd be like, "Oh my gosh, finally, I can."
Oh, more than likely, yeah.
But
We'll
maybe not.
out,
Maybe it's a bad habit. Yeah, we might have to have. Oh my gosh, they
have a little regimen for them.
We're going to have to go ahead and have the welcome aboard the Anubis speech.
Everybody take a shower.
Yeah, you are required to stay clean and clean up after yourself. This half-ass leaving shit half undone and all, that is not how we do things.
Somewhere I worked had a system for telling employees that they like smell bad and stuff and that they need to fix it. It was called Caring Conversations.
Yeah, we had that at stream. I shit you not. We had that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Um,
Yes.
See, and
At least
I,
the stream, that was a bunch of computer techs and engineers. So
yeah.
it
it was
happens.
constant, I bet.
Yeah.
And see, I'm thinking just a real late night, real intense conversation.
With a
Well,
fire hose and a bar of soap.
and some light striking. You know,
So yeah,
they'll wash right on up.
Anissa and Vikand, there are a couple of empty bunks, and so they tell you guys if you want to bed down, feel free.
I'm fine, really. I just had some coffee. I think I'm pretty awake.
Some of the bunks have some dubious stains, and Anissa is quick to tell you that sometimes she also, being the colony advisor, has to double as a first aid technician, and so they don't have a sick bay, and so a lot of times people have to be treated directly in their bunks. And the couple of bunks that are empty, Vikand is open, and he says, "Yeah, those particular individuals aren't with us anymore."
Yeah, that's too bad.
Yeah.
Their
Well,
lives are very tragic.
Oh, I'm just thinking it's less stress on our bunk space. You know,
That's true too.
yeah. That's God, if we could lose like 4 of these guys, it'd be great. But
Well, obviously they're
hear you.
okay doubling up on bunks. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, they're
Oh
gonna be
yeah,
fine with it.
yeah. Well, we'll see what we can have. We could have workplace accidents later. Get them out. It'll be fine.
Wouldn't be
so
the first time
so
here.
Ting and Beth, you're just staying up, drinking coffee. Now there are a number of windows all throughout this. Ting and Beth, make a Recon plus intellect check.
11.
That's what I got.
Coffee in me.
Okay, so you
Yeah.
both got 11.
I do want to go ahead and I mean, they've got these ship spares and shit.
Yeah.
Here, those are Sindalian ship spares.
Well, I mean, the material that they are made from is from Sindalian. Yeah.
Okay, well, I mean, we should take that.
Yeah, I mean, in my opinion, you can never have too many ship spares until you have so many that it takes up your whole cargo hold. But, ship spares are always a good thing. That way,
Well, I mean, if
can make repairs on the go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, we want to take those with us in the computer core.
And actually,
Yeah.
Keith, you can make a Recon plus intellect check as well.
Okay.
Oh yeah, we're about to get information.
11.
Okay, so you all got 11s. Okay. So after 6 hours, this diagnostic is able to retrieve what appears to be part of a log from the captain. And it says, the final entry of Captain Brackens. The 5th Fleet has engaged us, despite our best efforts. We've sent we hope that the Duke and his family... We shall prevail. For honor and duty, Captain... And it just goes tits up again.
Wow. Not very helpful, but
It's some history
it is some history, so that's kind of cool.
where we had none before.
Yeah.
All of you, well, all of you, yes, can feel what the entire base starts to shake.
Oh shit. We need to get out like now, huh?
Keith, you will directly see, because of the location of the computer bay, you notice that the accretion disk around the black hole has changed from its usual reddish orange and is flaring to like a white color.
Uh-oh. Let's go.
Yeah, it's time
We're
to
going
go.
now.
You're like, oh
We're
shit.
leaving now. Yeah, we're taking that computer core if we can.
Can we detach all the shit off it and run?
Yeah. We could probably do that. We could plug it into our own computer if we have to. I don't know what we can do with it, but
Okay.
Let's go. You got 8 minutes, from what I recall.
I would like to prepare a quick contract and have all the passengers sign them when they come on.
So, Keith, go ahead and make one last computer plus intellect or education check.
All right. 13.
Nice. So, data will transfer to your ship, I assume, is where you're transferring it, in 3 minutes.
Okay. And I think
In the meantime, let's get out of here.
yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
This is
So, I
scary.
mean, if you were to take, you're transferring the data. If you were to take the entire core, you're going to have everybody, essentially clip the wires, carry it out of here, and load it up into your ship. I mean, really,
That'll take too long.
yeah. I mean, you
Okay.
looking at the corona around this black hole, you're estimating you ain't got that kind of time.
Yeah.
You want to be out of here yesterday.
Yeah.
Ting, what are you doing?
Well, you don't have to tell me twice. I'm fucking headed to the fucking ship.
Okay.
So let's wake everybody up and get out of here.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I
Beth,
am. I'm seriously gonna help try to get the weaker, fucked up people.
Okay. So you and
You know?
Beth are rousing people and getting them the fuck out of here is basically, and
Yeah.
getting them to your getting them in to vac suits and getting them to your ship, because you
Yeah.
actually have to walk on the surface out here to get to your ship. So Keith, are you sticking around for the completion of the data process, or are you grabbing Athel and going?
I am not sticking around.
Okay.
If the data's uploading, I'm happy.
Okay. So you guys, it takes you, another good 10 minutes to get your suits on, and you get a remote confirmation from Anubis that upload is complete.
Excellent.
And you guys take off out the door to board Anubis. And some of the sicker individuals are asking stupid questions like, "Well, what about the penises?" I forgot my duffel bag. I have to go back for my duffel bag. And other guys are like, "No, just forget it. Whatever's in there, we'll buy you another one. We'll go buy another penis. We got to get out of here." And as you're running from the airlock to the Anubis, as you're running across that space, it looks like the accretion disk is growing and getting bigger and whiter. Just this bright white color. And you are able to board Anubis.
Yep. Let's go. Utmost of haste.
Jump.
Post haste.
All right. So I take it Beth is probably not sparing the horses on this one.
No.
Go ahead and make your piloting plus dex check.
Eight.
Okay. So Beth lifts off and throws the throttle forward at a high burn of 6 Gs and leaves this planetoid quickly behind. And you guys are looking out the windows and at sensors like, okay, go. You already have astrogation laid in.
Yep.
And Keith, go ahead and make an astrogation plus intellect check.
Okay. 8.
So you, looking at your astrogation sensors, you see that there's a couple of problems. The first is your astrogation is laid in to get back out of here. The problem is that, and let me grab our map. So you are up here in 1813. You had just laid in a course back to Homestead, right?
Yes.
Right. So the problem is, normally you would have to get to outside of a 100 diameter jump shadow, and of course the Anubis is capable of doing that in a 90 diameter jump shadow. You see that the jump shadow of this black hole, according to your astrogations computers, is growing at an exponential rate.
So we just need to jump, don't we?
Yeah, we need to
Or
get
just
out of here as soon as we can.
Take the minus. Take the minus for the early jump. It's like what, -2?
It is a -2.
Yeah,
Yeah,
take it. Take it and fucking go.
Yeah, let's go.
It's a
Compared to what?
-2 for early jump. It would be an additional -2 because you're jumping from a blank hex. So you're -4 total to your engineering J drive plus intellect or education check.
Okay, well, it's on our black hole.
Yeah.
Okay,
All right.
go for it.
10.
Nice. Okay.
All right, good.
And you jump early, and as you jump, you all get this sick feeling in your stomach, and things kind of go blurry for a second, and then you are in jump space, but you don't seem like, from everything that you've heard, there's weird things like time dilation and shit like that people have to go through for a week when there's a misjump. You're not experiencing any of that. There was just a sick feeling in your stomach and the blurriness, and then bam, now you're in jump space.
Nice.
We made it.
Oh.
Yeah, that's a really good back roll.
So we will pick this up next week at 7 o'clock on Wednesday night.
Thanks a lot.
Awesome.
Have a lot of
Have a
fun.
good night, guys. I will see you next week.
Good night.
You too.